I fully intended to give them back to you. I even had them in my coat pocket. For the longest time, they were just kind of banging about with Gibraltar. Okay, so international diplomacy is really difficult. We all know how easy it is to have a misunderstanding with someone that we already know and get along with really well. We'll take that potential for misunderstanding and multiply that by race, religion, colour, geography, politics and history. And you get two things, right? You get a recipe for a confusion sandwich with extra conflict and fries on the side, and you get a horribly mixed metaphor. Right? And it's because of these difficulties that we give the most important diplomatic positions to the most intelligent, articulate, compassionate people we can find. People like Hillary Clinton and Sigourney Weaver. You know, people who can negotiate their way around a tricky situation or blow the problem out the airlock. In any kind of situation like this, it's really important to make sure that the people involved have got the skills for the task at hand. I mean, you wouldn't give chemical weapons to a pastry chef or sharp scissors to girls aloud, so nobody involved in a diplomatic quandary should be there unless they've got the skills to pay the bills. Now, the Falkland Islands is perhaps the epitome of a sticky diplomatic situation. It's got all of the ingredients of the aforementioned sandwich, and to top it off, the two main countries involved aren't even arguing about the same thing. Argentina think that the islands belong to them because they inherited them from the Spanish, and they think that the English took them illegally. The UK are saying that the most important consideration is the fact that the 3,000 people who live on the islands almost unanimously want to remain English. This is further compounded by the fact that since 1600, every European naval power and their dog have at some stage laid claim to the Falkland Islands. So let's add 400 years of colonialism, piracy, mutiny, murder, and mayhem into the mix as well. And oh wow, this is going to be a tasty sandwich. So given the situation, its history, its complexities, its sensitivity, and its ambiguities, you think that the people appointed to deal with it would be the most intelligent, understanding, sensitive, articulate people on the planet, right? Well, you could think that, but you would be wrong. Because the two people screaming the loudest at the moment are the Argentinian president and the UK newspaper The Sun. It's not even a person or a country. Go figure. The first salvo was fired by Cristina Fernandez, who is the Argentinian president, and she printed 2 open letters in UK newspapers to David Cameron asking for the islands back. And I don't really know what she was expecting him to do, what she was expecting him to say. Maybe she was expecting him to be embarrassed and just kind of give them, have I still got those islands? I'm so sorry. I fully intended to give them back to you. I even had them in my coat pocket. For the longest time, they were just kind of banging about with Gibraltar. Of course, that's not what David Cameron actually said. What he actually said sounded a lot more like no, but with more rhetoric. Then, in a fit of excitement, similar to those which make young puppies pee excitedly on expensive carpets, The Sun decided to take diplomatic matters into its own paws, and it printed its own letter in a Buenos Aires newspaper telling Argentina to keep its hands off! Which is wonderful diplomacy, isn't it? Hands off! If only we could have applied that to more strategic, intense diplomatic situations. Hands off the Cuban Missile Crisis. Hands off World War II. I mean, it is diplomacy, but it's diplomacy in the same way that a spiked wooden club is an instrument of brain surgery. Now, I'm not David Cameron's biggest fan. I didn't vote for him, and I find him slightly waxen. But I at least accept that he is the person that's meant to be speaking to Argentina about the Falkland Islands. Unless I fell into a deep and profound coma without realizing it, nobody appointed The Sun our strategic diplomatic liaison. I mean, apart from anything, it falls well outside their core competency of writing alarmist stories about immigrants and paedophiles and boobs. I'd even go so far as to say that any newspaper that attempts to convince us on a daily basis that the breasts of a woman are the third most important item on the international news agenda should probably keep their diplomatic opinions to themselves. You'll notice that both Cristina Fernandez and David Cameron, flawed as they are, have managed to keep their boobs out of the Falklands discussion so far. I mean, it kind of undermines your serious and reasoned points when they appear right next to Stacey, 19, from Bognor Regis, who's posing on a stony beach in the middle of winter wearing nothing but mascara and Photoshop. I mean, I fully accept that the Sun has a right to print breasts on a daily basis and pretend that it's acceptable, but I just don't think that we should pay attention to anything they think until they stop. This is a complex situation, and it's not going to be resolved with the key parties talking at cross purposes and monkeys in the peanut gallery throwing poo at the stage. If we do want the situation to improve, I think we have to accept that we need to do less shouting, we need more understanding, more compassion, and probably more Sigourney Weaver. We should also remember that John Lennon told us, all you need is love. I just don't think Stacey's 34 double Ds are quite what he had in mind.
Are you enjoying Head Squeeze? Is your head suitably squozen? If so, why not subscribe? It's down here, look.